Assalamu alaikum guys. Today I want to speak about the new N-word, which is nationalism. Something that Europeans and Americans could really learn from the Jordanians is that you can be nationalistic and love your country, and you can also welcome in foreigners and love foreigners, especially those who are in need, like refugees. Jordan is home to 1.4 million Syrian refugees, hundreds of thousands of Iraqi refugees. It took in Lebanese refugees during the Lebanese civil war, has 1 million economic migrants from Egypt, and not to mention the Palestinians who came as migrants or refugees basically from the 1940s onwards. Worst nightmare for Europeans, right? But Jordan has not lost any of its identity, and nor does it push that identity onto its non-Jordanian citizens. Jordan's nationalism goes further than the country itself, and it finds its roots in tribalism. The people of Jordan originate from nomadic tribes, which are known for their hospitality. In fact, Bedouins have a rule that if you receive a visitor, you're not allowed to ask him why he is there or what his purpose of traveling is for 3 days, which essentially means that you, a stranger, are invited into my house for a whole weekend, and I'm not going to ask you who you are, what you're doing, or anything about you. You're just fully welcome for a whole weekend. Now imagine that in terms of foreign policy and accepting foreigners and refugees. I might be reaching a little bit, but for me, I think of this as being how Jordan's society and its laws and foreign policy and everything have been built on the foundations of that Bedouin hospitality and the tribal hospitality that existed here for thousands of years. So this is just one example of how Jordan's great history and its great tribalism could have laid the groundworks to deal with situations that could literally make or break a country and a society. For instance, when thousands of Palestinians fled to Jordan during the 1948 war, the East Bank and the West Bank became united, and that was to ensure that there would be no future aggression against the Palestinians, and also to ensure their rights and their position in Jordanian society. That meant that they became Jordanian citizens, and they were allowed to own property and to get work and to settle here. It was a very humane thing to do, and yet has anyone done anything else that's similar to that? As a general rule of thumb, Jordanians are very nationalistic. But when I say that, I include the Jordanian Palestinians as well. In fact, when I say Jordanian nationalism, really I mean nationalism that exists in Jordan, rather than it being something that's intrinsic to nationality. And Jordanian nationalism doesn't equate to any kind of hatred or hostility like it does, say, in England. In fact, if the British faced any kind of demographic situation that Jordan does, then there would be riots in the streets, there would be a revolution, it wouldn't happen. And foreign policy has been designed especially to ensure that that would never happen. Basically that's to hold on to whatever is British or British values. But Jordanians prove that if your culture and your values are united and strong enough, then they can withstand basically anything. And however big or small you are in population, your culture is going to thrive. Yes, of course, there are going to be problems everywhere, and there are going to be certain people that view certain other people in certain kinds of ways, and that's just natural wherever you are in the world. But it would never lead to a clash in the street over the concept of values or identity like you see in England. In fact, when there was a clash in Jordan in the 1970s, it was political, and it wasn't about identity. The people were still united in their core beliefs and in their core values. It was just a political thing that they were disagreeing about. And following the 1988 disengagement between the two banks, you can still hear voices from both sides of the banks calling for unity again. Completely opposite to England, Jordanian nationalism is something beautiful, and it's something that you want to get involved with. It's fierce, but it's also quite lovely. It says, we know who we are, but you're welcome here too. Alright guys, in the comments below, please tell me what it means to you to be Jordanian or from Jordan, and what makes you proud of this country. And if you liked today's video, please like and subscribe. And if you are interested in a follow-up video coming next week, inshallah, about Jordanian tribalism, then please click the bell icon and you'll get a little notification when I upload that. All right, thank you so much, guys. Ma salama.